looking at a couple of films now on streaming to finish. The first one is a Sky original, which is normally The Kiss of Death for Quality, one up from Hallmark. Shouldn't say that, or they'll ban me from reviewing their films. This is a film called Deadshot, and it's an IRA-based film set in the 70s. And after a tragic shooting in Northern Ireland, Michael O'Hara, played by Colin Morgan, vows vengeance on the soldier who did it, a soldier called Tempest, played by Amal Amin. But Tempest has been recruited into a special ops unit led by Holland, played by Mark Strong. And Tempest has returned to London to shack up with his ex-girlfriend, Ruth, played by Sophia Brown. O'Hara goes and joins the IRA's London unit to help with their campaign, but mainly to exact his revenge. Here's a clip.
You are about to be prosecuted for murder. Or you come and work for me.
What's the situation, sir?
The IRA. And they've been giving London a taste of the Troubles.
I could use a dead shot like you.
So that is a clip from Deadshot. Emma, what did you make of Deadshot?
I don't have a great deal to say about this. I enjoyed watching it. I did think there were some good points to it. The acting I thought was quite good. I did like that. Obviously, the two main characters as they're sort of hunting each other when their lives interact. That I enjoyed that. And apart from that, I wasn't very engaged with it at all. Like, I found it not to be dull, but it was very slow and it just wasn't hooking me in. And then all of a sudden you'd get a little bit of action and you think, oh, okay, I'll get into this now. It's obviously just that first bit of the film that takes a little while to get going. But it just left me hanging after that. So I enjoyed it, but I won't need to watch it again.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay. Did you actually recognise Mark Strong and Felicity Jones in this film? It took me ages to realise, hang on a minute, that's Mark Strong. And
the hair
and
on
I thought,
Mark Strong. Oh.
And what's Felicity Jones doing in this? And actually, I realised Felicity Jones is actually married to the director Charles Gard, so that's why she's in this film, right? Mr. Gard came home and said, "Boy, Felicity, you wouldn't mind, would you?" Scott, what did you make of this?
So I had a really bad time with this film, to be honest.
Dear.
Yeah, I struggled a lot with this. I thought the screenplay was pretty horrible, to be honest. I was really bored through the vast majority of this movie. I found it really slow, and in the occasional moments when something would happen, it's a fleeting moment and then it's back to being dull again. I thought the performances, for the most part, were completely lacking in energy. They all looked so lethargic when they were delivering their dialogue. Visually, I thought this film was quite strangely dark as well. There were so many scenes where I just had no idea what was happening on the screen because I just couldn't see it. And I wasn't going to fiddle about with the colours on my TV because this film decided to have bad cinematography. The score and the sound design, I'm not even sure how to describe it, but it was really irritating. There was sort of nails on a chalkboard almost for me at times with some of the sort of drones that were going through the movie. It just weird times. It just didn't seem to fit at all. In other movies that I might like better, I might have given it a pass, but Mark Strong's wig, oh my God, I just wanted to take that thing off him, and it was so terrible. I think you might disagree with me on this one, Bob, but yeah, this one for me is giving Marlowe a run for its money for one of my worst films of the year.
Whoa, that's saying something. That's saying something.
It sure is.
Yeah, you see, I wonder if we watched different films. I didn't. I've actually praised the cinematography in this. I thought the composition, I thought the colour grading, I thought the way in which it portrayed 70s grungy London with all the uncollected rubbish on the streets and stuff. I thought that was really well done. I thought the film's colour palette, I think, reflected a lot of that really well. And I actually like the music as well by Max de Wardner. Yeah, maybe we saw completely different cuts of this film. The actual plot of the film, I think, borrowed pretty heavily from the likes of Patriot Games, being a kind of IRA revenge thriller. And it's quite brutal in places, I thought, the film, in terms that this is certainly not another one for dog lovers, right? if animal lovers didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy for the treatment of animals in that film, they are not going to like a bit of this film involving a sheepdog, right? It was quite interesting. I thought that there were two anti-heroes in the film, but it was very clear which way the filmmakers wanted you to vote as to which anti-hero you were backing after that particular scene. And I thought it started quite strongly. I think the opening sequence was quite strong. And I think, without any spoilers, I think the end sequence was quite strong and surprising. And I thought the actual direction had a little bit of style, right? This would have been very easy to just run as a just vanilla film, but there were lots of shots of headlights going down country lanes and long lingering shots of running water and the sea and so on dropped in as well, which I thought added a little bit of class to the thing, which I wasn't really expecting in a film like this. So yeah, I think we have very different views of this. My negatives of the film were less about the fact that I didn't get engaged with it, because I was really engaged with this film. It was really that as IRA members, the likes of O'Hara and Catherine, the Felicity Jones character, they felt a bit too soft and cuddly for what they were doing to be believable. I mean, they seem to be being painted by the film as kind of nice bombers, right? Nice bombers. And that didn't really sit very well with me, having lived through the 70s and knowing what went on there. I also wasn't sure what the relationship between these two characters, O'Hara and Catherine, was supposed to be. At one point, they seemed to look to be running away with each other, but you never saw them share any sort of moment with each other. I couldn't get to grips with what they were supposed to be, right? If there'd been a sex scene in there, it might have helped a bit, right? It might have spiced the film up a bit. I do agree with something that you both said, that said there were points at which that it was starting to move towards something action-based. There was one point at which there was a threat against the Mark Strong character. Somebody was trying to take his wig off, maybe. And I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting, right? This is going to step up. But then the plot just went away in a different direction and didn't go near that again. And I thought, that's okay. That's a bit odd. That's a bit of an odd thing to do. You see, we're going to have different scores again on here. But I actually thought this was quite a watchable and entertaining film. I actually gave this a 7 out of 10, which I might have been a little bit generous of. Might be a high 6, but I gave it a 7 in the end. Scott, Marlowe score.
I'm going to match my Marlowe score, and I'm going to give it a generous 4.
Okay. Emma?
I also did not enjoy Marlowe. I think this might be slightly better than that. I am also going to give it a 4.
Okay. A 4, a 4, and a 7. That probably still works out a miss. We have to get 7 and above in order to get a hit. I think that's going to be a miss for Dead Shot. Okay. Quite correct. That's a Flickering Dreams score of 5 for Dead Shot, making it a